If you live in Texas, this video is for you. Your life is going to change way more than you actually think it will, all thanks to the new amendment that's passed today, as well as the Prop Q being denied for those here in Austin, Texas, like I am. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to expect, how to plan it accordingly, and also how to restructure your life now with these new changes to the best amount of benefits for yourself and for your families and loved ones. My name is Jordan Super. Welcome to my channel. My team's done $1.6 billion in transactions over the past few years, and a lot of these new amendments in Prop Q has a drastic effect on real estate and so much more. So you want to make sure you stay tuned for this video, especially the last few amendments that had massive impact on your life. So first things first, we kind of see, we come over here, all Constitution amendments has been passed here in Texas, 17 in total. I'm going to walk you through each one of these as we go. And of course, it's a Prop Q at the end for those who are living in Austin, Texas. Make sure you watch that part because it's going to be a huge impact on how you operate here in Austin. Number one, though, is Prop 1. Prop 1 was pretty unanimous. Not unanimous, but it's a pretty big difference, This is going to be a big breakdown for the Texas State Technical College program. Got a little note for you over here. You're going to see that this makes a massive difference in terms of $850 million endowment for fixing the campus, upgrading the Gill, expand statewide. This will mean more jobs, more growth, more people moving to the surrounding areas, which by proxy also increase home value and also allow people who are going there to get a higher education as well, because with this new endowment it brings in higher professors, more materials, and so forth. As a whole, this nearly $1 billion influx is going to have a massive impact on you and also your families and of course the real estate as a whole. Number 2 on our list is Prop 2. This is going to be a big one for most of you on here, especially on this channel. There are no longer any tax on investment gain. Now, as you may or may not know, Texas is a no state income state. So if you have any kind of income, you're not being taxed on that. What this law does, though, is ensure that no one's be taxing you on your investment gains and so forth. Meaning, if you own a home here in Austin and you have a property value of $1 million and it appreciates to $1.2 million next year, you're not being taxed on that gain because it's unrealized. Same for your stock portfolio, your cryptocurrencies. This makes a massive difference for those living in Texas. And I can imagine why this is happening, because back in 2021, 2022, there was huge tax reliefs for people with big tech companies. Think about Oracle and Tesla. They came here for these purposes, and now with this, for the everyday American and investor, you now have an opportunity to kind of reap some of the benefits and not get taxed on your taxes. Like again, most places in America, like California, had 13.3% at one point in time. You had New York at 10.1%. You're seeing massive taxes that really ate up a lot of your portfolio, and having this there makes it hard to have a high NOI, hard ROI as well. So these changes be a massive difference for you. Number 3 is Prop 3. Again, this is also was approved on our list, 61%, 1.8 million people compared to 1.1. This one is going to be kind of like Texas. It kind of makes sense why you're all about this. This is no bail for violent felonies. So people who committed murder, people who have aggravated assault, indecency with children, and so forth. I think all in all, it's pretty self-explanatory on that one. I won't go into too much detail. Obviously, the implications on the back end is going to be people who will be locked up until they're now sentenced at a hearing. And then from there, you have a more probably higher terms of placement. So now they're being held there longer. So at the whole state level, you will have higher taxes on that side because now they're stuck there longer, and them not being inside of the jails makes a difference. And we'll probably see on the back side of this happening, having less people who have smaller crimes being held for too long, or even having smaller bails. to make room for the people like these who have no way of getting bail moving forward. But again, that is not a huge issue for most people. Number 4 on our list is going to be Prop 4. As it sounds, this is a great one. I believe that water is now the new oil in some cases, especially how you can see the way we did $1 billion sales tax revenue each year starting in 2027. And this is all to help fix the infrastructure as apply and conserve. This is a 20-year project. It's going to be $20 billion by 2047, which in turn will make homes nicer, make neighborhoods nicer, make cities nicer on a larger scale, and of course also make sure people are always hydrated. But if that comes a adverse effect as well, of course, with anything in life, the more we have for water reserves and taxes, there'll be some kind of implications from other areas of spending to make this happen. Next on our list, after having a drink of water, is number 5. Also was approved as well. Let me see, move over here. Also approved as well, 64 to 36%. This is the feed inventory tax break. As you all know, being in Texas, there are tons of farmer sales. This is a big state for that. And it's going to help us actually minimize probably a lot of costs that we see when it comes to our food in the stores. So the tax relief, they're no longer having to extend themselves more than needed in order to provide food and livestock and also even veggies as well to us too, because all these things play a big role in that. So now that extends the tax exemptions for them, making it easier for them to have more inventory if it is for sale, helping us, the consumers, not spend less money either. It's kind of a win-win on that side. Next on our list is Prop 6. This one at 55 to 45%. This one is no taxes on stocks trading and security industries, meaning that if you are a stock trader to any capacity, whether you are a broker, a day trader, or so forth, you're no longer being taxed on these. And in Texas, it makes sense because a lot of the people who are doing this are doing it as their jobs. So you're trading stocks and so forth. It's similar to having a real estate portfolio. If my home appreciates $200,000, there's no tax bill. Same for this. This is going to help people honestly probably invest more and spend more money now here in Texas, which will probably be better for everyone as a whole, because now we're not losing as much taxes for the gains they're doing through the work in the market. We now see them having to really hold on to that more and spend more freely as well while in the area. So this is, I think, will actually be a benefit to more people than you think about. Number 7 is Prop 7. This one also was passed as well. This one I think is really big, helping a lot of people. There are tons of people in the service. Again, thank you for your service. You're watching right now. What this means for you is that now, for those who unfortunately have lost a loved one from a tragic event, you're now being tax exempt on that on the homestead for Zion spouses. So you have not remarried yet, and you are the widow, unfortunately, sad it is, you're now having more tax exempts. So again, my condolences, but this will help you at least kind of levy that flow and not have to deal with as much for that. Next on our list is Prop 8. Prop 8 also was a pretty big landslide, 72 to 28, one of the highest ones we've seen yet. This one is no inheritance tax, so you can probably imagine why it's so high on our list. This means that if you are growing your empire, you're not going to be taxed on it for your children. As a real estate agent doing $1.6 billion in transactions with my team over the past few years, I see lots of homeowners sell their properties because they don't want to deal with the taxes and so forth as much as they want to, rather than the benefits of selling the house, getting the money back, paying taxes that way, and going from that direction. Of course, if you need any help with buying or selling houses in all 50 states, but especially here in Austin, Texas, and surrounding areas in Texas, down below, link in the description, the first comment. Have a call with you directly, walk you through what to expect, how to help you buy or sell, make the best results possible. We've broken records up to a 10-mile radius almost every time we buy and sell houses with our clients. And with this, we will see a lot more wealth being preserved for generations. And this means forever it won't happen to us. Now, what is unique about this in Texas, in some cases, there was no like real law about it. So they could do if they wanted to, now they can't, which is why it was passed. Now there's no way for Texas to make you have this. And then this is the Texas level. If the government does differently, it has to be repassed again on amendment here in Texas in order for that to happen, which is very unlikely. So you probably rest assured moving forward that Texas is going to be a really big capital-friendly area for you for growing your wealth and your empire. Next on our list is Prop 9. 65 to 35% voted yes for this one. This one is going to help businesses for personal property exemptions. So again, there's going to be a huge influx to a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs who have businesses here in Texas. I have a lot of friends in this area that are going to be super happy about this, which means they'll probably spend more money in their communities, meaning they'll hire more people, give more jobs, they'll be able to help more people at a higher level, give more prices. This will actually be a really good benefit. Beforehand, it was $2,500 for a property exemption for inventory and equipment, whereas now we see up to $125,000. So it's a massive, massive increase, which again, this allows them to hire more people, provide more for the community, and so forth. Next on our list is going to be Prop 10. Prop 10 was passed 89 to 11%. Massive, massive upside. Most people wanted this one, and of course, because this one affects people on a large scale. This is a kind of a fast track. Property tax is temporary, but it reduces any homes that were destroyed by fires to protect those people. Of course, it is a natural, in most cases, event that happens. So we want to make sure people are not having to pay an extreme amount of money for no reason for something that already is a bad situation. So again, I think this is super helpful. Also pretty self-explanatory. There will be different effects in the backside of this, but people are not normally making fires on houses just for fun. So not a whole lot of options out there. Next on our list is Prop 11, 78 to 22. Again, a pretty high one. It's pretty slanted. All thanks to being the Homestead exemptions. Here in Texas, you see lots of these happening, especially for seniors and disabled people. So this raises core tax homestead exemptions for elderly disabled homeowners, which is going to be huge. This means that people are now able to really not having to penny pinch. A lot of people who are in this environment, in homesteads, are trying to make sure they can absorb much as they can, kind of have a way to have a good quality of life. This just allows them to do more of that. And we'll probably see less transactions as well, thankfully, honestly, for this too, because a lot of people have been moving because they couldn't afford their taxes at the end of the year. And most people are living in big estates or family homes, and they don't want to downgrade because they've been in for so long. So it allows them also to keep it in the family. It also goes back into Prop 8, allows them now to keep it in the family and not pay taxes on that either. So again, this is like a double whammy effect, almost a trickle effect for more wealth being preserved for everybody living in Texas. Prop 12 is 62 to 38%. This one's going to be breaking down or reshaping judicial conduct commissions. Pretty much saying that now, if anything happens on misconduct, it's going to have a high review to the state level. This means there's more P's and Q's happening, more protections. It allows us, the people, to make sure we're fully protected and not having people abuse their powers, which is, of course, huge. And based on all these laws, I think this will help us a lot as well, kind of stay on track and making sure we keep on moving forward for the betterment of the people as a whole. Next on our list is going to be Prop 12, 62 to 38%, pretty average on our list so far. To Prop 13, 79 to 21% is Prop 13. This is bigger homestead exemptions. This is massive, $40,000 supposedly reported increase for those having homesteads. So anyone who has core tax homestead exemption are now able to now maximize that $40,000, which in some cases will honestly make a huge difference. Like $40,000 is a 33+% increase in their exemptions, which will cover a big part of their taxes per year. A lot of people have more money in their pockets. Again, it will have a way for us to kind of equalize what's happening in our economy. You know, you've been watching for long, the economy is kind of falling down. You see gold is increasing in price, stock is increasing in price, real estate has been decreasing in price, but also money as well. Money has decreased in price quite a bit due to inflation. And when you see the other side of that, that means inflation and the power of the dollar are both going up and down. Inflation's higher, and the dollar's down lower, makes it less money for us to buy stuff. So normally you can go to the store, get what you needed to, buy gas, or fix your house. Now it's harder. With these big tax cuts, it's going to help us kind of soften and correct the economy. And also on an off topic, up above, I'm hoping it breaks down as well, the new tax cut for inflation, for interest rates. It's also happened as well. That may actually change again pretty soon. So don't bank on that happening for a long haul, but they're all finding ways now to make sure people have more means in the pocket to be more stable. Next one is the $3 billion Dementia Institute. This one, of course, kind of self-explanatory. 14 is prop for this one, 69 to 30%. Of course, this is coming from other places, so like we're still going to be paying for this, but I do think this is a huge, huge thing that a lot of people go through. I know people in my family have been through this. I think this is great. Help them really have a better research, better cure, better help. Next on our list, 15 prop had 70 to 30% on that side. Parents' rights in the Constitution. This is added parents to the language. The kind of mirrored federal cases law. So again, this allows people to now have more control and be more involved when it comes to anything like this for the rights inside the Constitution. I think this will help a lot, have this more clarity as a whole across the board. Prop 16, 72 to 28%, pretty big difference. And of course, only U.S. citizens can vote now inside of Texas. So if you're not a U.S. citizen, you're not able to vote. So for these kind of laws, for so forth, that's no longer a thing. And of course, like, how you feel about this depend on who you are as a person or your beliefs are. I'm not going to talk too much about that. Again, my main role is to help you be more educated, to help you all things in Texas, when it comes to laws and to real estate, wealth building, and more. So at that point, you're going to know if this is what it looks like now. And the last one, which is actually way bigger than you think, is actually only 57 to 43%. And I think most of the people didn't know what it actually meant for sure. This freeze value spikes in the border projects. So being in Texas, what is actually saying that a lot of people will have their gates and their fences and their property near what the government is doing for border security and so forth. And that actually increased their taxes despite them doing nothing, because they increased the value. The government did. The government increased the value, which increased the value of their property and their estates, which increased their taxable value, which made it hard for them to really afford to live and cut their costs and operations and more. Now with this, they're now able to freeze taxes on those things and even set limits to make sure people are not having to pay more than they need to for what government's happening, which I think is going to be pretty helpful for a lot of people. It kind of goes back into our feed inventory tax break, kind of go hand in hand. It allows us to get more goods and costs without them having to overcharge us more to make up the difference, because it is still a business. And then for those of you who are in Austin, Texas, like I am, Austin voters have rejected Proposition Q. This is a tax rate increase to fund city services. And the pretty much general consensus for this is that you cannot fix a tax burden or income burden with another tax burden and income burden. This is what one person said here. So City Council said many times before, affordability is a crisis. He said, well, folks, you do not make affordability better by raising taxes, because it goes kind of hand in hand together. Again, raising taxes, also affordability. I think this is big for a lot of people in real estate. Now, obviously, the tax increase is nothing super groundbreaking. It is obviously added up for every $100, you're going to add an extra 5 cents, around 0.54. It means that if your home is $500,000, you're paying $300 a year in annual taxes for that. If it's $1 million, you're now paying $600. If it's $10 million, it's now $6,000 a year more in taxes. And of course, these adds up. For investors, it makes it hard for people to have a higher, income on that side. A lot of people with cash flow, especially now, kind of tight, or most of them only profit $100 per door. So it's to eat up about a third of their income per year of net profit if this happens. So it does make a difference on that side. For homeowners, obviously, a lot of homeowners, I think, are led astray by the other agents or the lenders, and they'll buy at the top of their loan amount with the approved form. That means that if something happens in life, they're pretty much not able to afford that. So this $300 could actually make a big difference for a lot of people too. It may seem small to others. I think on a basis, though, there's so many people inside of our Congress and city council members really have a huge change in paradigm to make sure they are going to be cost effective, going to be more mindful of those spendings and expansions and so forth. So of course, all the amendments passed. Prop Q did not pass, obviously, which I think made a massive difference for all people living in Texas and Austin. But I do think with most of the amendments, your wealth now will go longer. If you're investing or you're owning a home for yourself and you have it for the long term to pass on to your family members, you are building an empire and pass on to your legacy, you now have opportunities now to have less taxes, and of course, there's so much more involved as well. And of course, if you need any help with all things real estate, down below, link in the description, the first comment, how to call me directly, no obligations, but if you want any help with buying or selling, we always have to help you the best results every single time, make you save or make more money. On average, all clients will either make or save an extra around $79,000+ on either side through all services when it comes to buying and selling houses. And of course, what do you think about these new changes? Down below, let me know in the comment section. Are you in favor of them? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know down below. Let me hear your thoughts. And of course, subscribe, like, share this video. I'll see you at the top, and thanks for being here.